Please welcome Jason Pittman.
Before I taught science, I taught 4th grade, and I can remember my second year of teaching, rushing to the principal, snatching the roster from his hand, searching it frantically, hoping very much not to see one name on that list of students who would be in my class in the upcoming year. That name, Princess. This child, literally born with the ultimate diva title instead of a name. She was legendary for terrorizing the school. In kindergarten, in the music class, the music teacher had come up with like a little rhyme game, and they had a little melody that went with it, and she would say a word, and the kids would sort of pick a rhyming word to go along with her. She made the mistake of choosing the word rock as her rhyme. So Princess leans to the little boy next to her and suggests that he choose the word cock as his rhyme. And so it comes to his turn, and he shouts cock, and she scoots away from him and says, "Oh, you're so nasty. Why would you say that?" And then a little buzz starts among the other kids, wondering about the origin of this newfound word that had the teacher in such a fuss. So she kind of winds them up a little bit, and eventually gets the entire class into a rousing chorus of cock, 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 cock. I first met this little girl. She was actually outside the school during school hours, just like picking flowers, just sitting on the ground picking flowers. And I thought, I don't think this is one of the things that we do here in school. And so I went over to her and asked what she was doing, and she says, "Well, I got bored with what they were doing inside, and I wanted some flowers." And I thought, well, you have to get up and go inside. Like, that's not a thing that you can do here. And she was like just so unconcerned over like violating the rules of school. I said, "Come on, let's go back inside." And she only sort of half looks up at me with these huge brown eyes and immaculate braids and this terrifyingly cute face, and she says to me, "Your zipper's open." The blood like drains out of me. I mean, this is the ultimate male teacher fear. I am alone with a child with my pants open. So I frantically check my zipper, and it's not down at all. And of course, when I look back, she is gone. So when I saw the name Princess on my class list, I knew it was going to be a very long year that year. She would throw wild tantrums in the class, like kick over the desk and throw chairs across the room and run out the door, presumably to pick flowers. At a whim, she would insist on only the upper echelon of classroom jobs. Whoops! Oh my goodness, we're falling apart. I'm a helpful, teacher. It's part of my profession. And to the point that finally she decided the only job acceptable for her in the classroom was classroom assistant, a job I didn't even come up with. This job she gave herself was just assigning who in the room would be allowed to use the paste and the crayons and the markers. All the other jobs in the classroom rotated among the children. I asked her one day, like, "Why do you get to be classroom helper every day?" And she said, "Because I'm the best at it." So it was a really, really difficult year. I'm positive I taught her absolutely nothing. She was really, really terrible with reading and math. I went home every day and drank an awful lot. It's very difficult to be terrible at a job you care about very much. The next year, I was assigned by the principal to teach the 5th grade, which sentenced me to another year with Princess. But this year I decided I'll redouble my efforts, like I can do this. I'm eventually going to get good at this job. And I really would insist on better grades. I got to know her a little bit better, tried to connect. My strategy was as I pushed her a little harder to do a little better, I'd make sure that I always put it in writing. You know, I'd write these little notes to her about how proud I was of her and really try to go into some real encouraging detail. And when I'd give it to her, you know, like along with a perfect spelling test or math test, she'd crumple it up and throw it in her backpack or sort of shove it in her desk and give me this little look like, lucky you that you got to be in the presence of my perfect spelling test. We had a little breakthrough, I suppose, later that year. She invited me to her birthday party. I guess maybe invite isn't quite exactly the right way to say it. She told me, it will be important for you to be there. When I arrived at the party, she handed me a cup of juice. She told me to stand over there in the corner. Because she knew as a young diva that it was important to have all of the significant people in the 5th grade circles at her party. So spring break rolled along, and she told me that her family was moving. She was going to be changing schools, and she told me that the class had decided to have a going away party for her. Which I was a little skeptical of when she gave me the specifications for the decorations, the colors of balloons that should be attached to her desk, and told me that it would be a surprise party. Later that day, however, she pulled me aside and she said, I have a secret that I want to tell you. I'm adopted. What she meant was that she was in foster care, which I already knew, but she didn't know that I knew. And she says, I'm not moving, I'm going back to live with her biological mother, who had just been released from jail. And she says, I'm very afraid. I'm afraid of my mom, and I don't want to leave the class. And I thought, you know, I already agreed to the party. You didn't have to break my heart. So, we had the party. I went to Princess's house to help her move, to kind of reassure her a little bit. And when I went into her room, helping her move the dresser, in her bedroom were all of my uncrumpled notes posted to her wall. And when I left, she hugged me very tight, and I could feel my shirt getting wet as she cried. And when I came back to school after spring break, there was a little hole in my heart for Princess. But it didn't exist for very long because Princess walked in right behind me. Unfortunately, what had happened on the very first night that her biological mother was with her, she'd gone out, stayed out all night, and got arrested again. And she was left in the house alone for 2 days until CPS found her, and she was immediately taken back to her foster family. When she came in that morning, despite having gone through this horrible experience, what she was most scared of in school was that she had insisted that the class have this going away party for her, and she didn't actually leave. And I felt so crushed that none of the adults in her life, including myself, could have prevented this situation, that I thought the least I can do is throw myself in front of this bullet for you. And so I told the class that morning that I had jumped the gun, and that she had told me that her family wasn't ready to move, but I went ahead and had the party anyways, and I apologized to her in front of the class. And she sort of sheepishly looks at me and then says, I tried to tell you. I get emails from her from time to time. She's moved on into high school now, and we have a pretty good relationship. That she's very proud to be fully adopted by her foster family. Even her mom emails me from time to time. Her teachers email me all the time. For the rest of that year, I really didn't have a problem with her running the class, despite my supposed leadership, or being the classroom assistant all the time, because in fact, she was the best at it. And I certainly didn't do it because I felt sorry for her. I did it because she was a princess.
Jason,
Jen.
please rank for me in order of most diva-like to least diva-like. Mariah Carey, Jennifer Lopez, Princess.
So I know only one of the three of them. You'll be surprised. I know I seem like a super famous public school teacher.
Yes, yes.
I am actually only acquainted with one of those. But
based on your perceptions.
Yeah, it's impossible that anyone could have outweighed this little girl. I mean, she's maybe 3 feet tall. She was the tiniest thing in the school, like until she left, and could easily heave over my desk. So yeah, I think not to mention that, but yeah, like the true mark of a diva, like no matter how ridiculous the idea was, the class is going to throw me a surprise. Like, we don't have going away parties for children in elementary school.
But this is happening.
But yeah, and it's going to be a surprise party.
Right.
So everyone needs to come in, they need to hide.
I'll act surprised.
Somehow, the true mark of a diva, she made it happen.
Right. You still need to rank Mariah and Jenny from the block.
I'll put Jenny in second place and Mariah first.
Mariah last is the least diva-like person. Do we all agree with this? Do we care? All right. I don't think so. Okay.
Write it on slips of paper later.
Right.
We'll rank it all out.
Okay, so last year you were recognized by the National Science Teachers Association as the Early Educator of the Year for the entire association. Jason, how did that change your life?
Wow. I got there by being horrible at teaching for so many years. So there's only but so long you can do that before you either need to just really get better or get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
So yeah. How did it change my life?
Yes.
Oh my! I mean the fame and fortune that has come. It's amazing, you know, as a public school teacher. It's why I changed careers to become a public school teacher.
Because the fame got to be too much.
I wanted to take the quick path to
right. That is
money. I mean,
the money.
People say I'm not who I used to be.
Right.
The money that I'm.
They're like, he's a high roller now.
It's pretty amazing. Welcome to backstage.
Yeah. Hi guys. Hi. Sorry to show you our. Yeah. Right. Exactly. We could do a rotating chair next time. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about was you have a cool project coming up. Can you tell me about Airs at Sea?
So actually, because through the award, I have had the occasion to meet a few interesting folks. Someone I've become acquainted with is Dr. Bob Ballard, who found the Titanic, and he has hired me to come aboard his ship with him. Actually, pretty much right when I leave from here, I head out to the Mediterranean with him to be educator in residence, and so I'll be broadcasting every day from his ship, the Nautilus. Sharing with the world about shipwrecks and it's fantastic. Dr. Ballard is such a storyteller, and so to have the opportunity to be his mouthpiece and to be his storyteller for his ship and what we'll be finding this summer. I'm overjoyed. I can't wait.
Oh, it's exciting.
I don't have to make that funny, but I'm really excited.
You don't have to make it funny. Yeah, it's great. Well, we're really excited for you. Thank you for coming on and telling your story. Jason Pittman.